Hello, folks out there. Welcome to another episode of Listen in 3D. Episode number 55. I'm your boy Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
And together we are both Team 3D, the hosts of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. Like what you're seeing, give this video a like, share it around, comment, and subscribe. Any feedback will help us out, help us in that YouTube algorithm. Want to go one step further? If you do subscribe, click on that notification bell. That way, you know when all our videos and shorts go live. And just a friendly reminder that we do podcast the show on various platforms. If you have tried to podcast the show lately, I know I'm a little behind on getting episodes uploaded. Just give me some time. But I mean, if you want to drop an email or whatever, I mean, trust me, I'll get on it a little quicker, sooner rather than later. But you can always catch our content on YouTube. That's our home base. All right, so going into this episode, Netta, during this time in the year it came out, could anyone do it better?
um, I mean, as far as I know, based on the stuff that we've heard so far, maybe not. What do you think?
I think he was definitely way ahead of his time, especially when this album came out, and then the things he was doing, and I know you're really into lyrics and lyricism, so I know you had to be blown away of what you had to hear. So let's talk about uh, who we're doing today. If you want to introduce it.
So today we'll be reviewing the D.O.C's No One Can Do It Better. It was released July 13th, 1989. It was his debut studio album and it was certified platinum. It peaked at number 1 on the R&B and hip hop album charts and number 20 on the Billboard 200. It had singles including It's Funky Enough, D.O.C. and the Doctor, The Formula, Mind Blowing, and Portrait of a Masterpiece was a single in the UK and Germany. He had music videos for It's Funky Enough and The Formula, and there was a music video for the remix of Mind Blowing. And he had guest appearances from NWA, including Easy E, Dr. Dre, MC Ren, Ice Cube, and DJ Yella, and Miss Chalet.
All right, thank you for that. So a little background on the DLC and where he came from. He's originally from the Dallas, Texas area. I believe he still lives there today, but when he was coming up, he was a member of a group called the Fila Fresh Crew. So if you ever heard the old NWA and the Posse album, the Fila Fresh Crew was on there. He was a member of that group. He was in there with fellow members Fresh K and Dr. Rock, and during that time, he was going as Doc T. I guess Dr. Rock had a connection with Dr. Dre during his time with the World Class Wrecking Crew, so he was able to get them on the album. So that's how that connection came about. But after 1988, Doc T left. He changed his name to D.O.C. and he started working on pretty much the two albums that pretty much defined Ruthless Records at the time, Easy E's Easy Does It, and NWA Straight Outta Compton. Pretty much he contributed ghost lyrics, ghost writing, whatever you want to call it. I know you're not a big fan of that, but he's done a lot of that throughout his career. um, and then pretty much also, he had his album that came out, midway through 1989. Um, Fortunately, in 1989, some months after his album came out, he was in a near fatal car crash. He was driving home from a party, fell asleep at the wheel. I believe it may have been the day that they shot the music video for the Formula, which is pretty sad. But and then just he couldn't talk for about 2 weeks. His vocal cords were, severely damaged. That's why when you hear him talk today, he has that. rasp, raspy voice or whatever you want to call it. Um, I think about it, that this could have been prevented. In a interview with DJ Vlad, he said that, when the crash happened, he was under the influence of alcohol and, other drugs, cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. And, police had pulled him over, but they let him go. I find that kind of crazy. After his time with NWA, he, went to death row with Dr. Dre, where he, you know, uh, did some production, contributed lyrics, minor vocals here and there, throughout his career. Known as a ghostwriter, he had a couple other albums after this one, Helter Skelter, and Deuce was another record that he put out. So he's been around. Um, I would say I know NWA was honored by the Grammys earlier this year. If I guess you can kind of say that he was the sixth honorary member of NWA. Just maybe just a little more behind the scenes. He did his own thing, and what can I say? If you listen to him back way back when, definitely he was. I think he was in a world of his own, and I think many people do believe had it not been for that car accident, he'd probably be one of the top 10, maybe top 5 MCs of all time. Definitely up there with Rakim and others. Just a little bit of background on him. Any attachment to the DOC or anything, or have you heard of him before you listen to this project?
No, I never heard of him until I listened to it
Oh,
here.
never heard any of the songs or anything, or
None of the songs that I listened to on this album rang a bell or anything. No.
okay, okay, well, cool, cool. Can't wait to hear your opinion on him. As for me, definitely heard some of the songs growing up. I know I never. I've heard a lot of the songs. I never heard the whole album verbatim until we started doing this. So some of these songs were my first time hearing them. Maybe I heard it years ago, but if I did, I just don't remember. But definitely heard some of the songs as they've appeared on compilations over the years. So that definitely good. Good balance, great songs, and just definitely let's get into it. Let's start with the artwork. What were your thoughts?
Um, I felt like the album cover was like Catfish. You ever seen that show?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, like I seen a few Catfish episodes where the catfish was like when they revealed their real face, it wasn't even like bad. There was nothing wrong with them. But this out like when I first saw this album cover, I was thinking something along the lines of like it takes a nation of millions to hold us back because he's got the Pan African colors, yellow, green, and
Yeah,
red, and he's got the two necklaces with the Africa charm. So I was sure he was going to be talking about that, and then the statue in the background with the King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is going to be a highly spiritual album.
Yeah, far from it. He didn't use profanity as much as some of his other label mates, but he used it here and there, but not as much. I will say.
Yeah, this was the first album that where I had a distinct impression of how it was going to go down, and I ended up being completely wrong. But I mean, it is a pretty good album cover.
Yeah, it's pretty good for the most part. It's different, but definitely you can definitely think that maybe he was going to be on the Chuck D Public Enemy side of things. I don't think it's really that gangster. I don't think he killed anyone on any of his records. I think it's just more lyricism and flow, and that really makes this album stand out, and its production, which we'll get into in a minute. But as for me, the album cover, I think it was unique, just a little generic. I guess you could. I see where you're coming from with the catfish thing. King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to say that he was the greatest. What I don't like though is how no one can do it better is jammed up on like the upper right hand corner. I thought that should have been maybe a little bigger. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, it is very small. Like the DOC is huge, but that's small. One interview I listened to, he was talking to Sway,
Mhm.
and he said the reason that he did the statue is because he had a prayer that he did when he was a boy still in Texas, where he said, God, I just want to be the best, and if you help me do that, I promise when I get there, I'll tell everyone who's really responsible. But he says a lot of people took it exactly how what you just said, like that he's trying to say that he's God.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess he had no regrets because a later album cover he does this, puts the same exact statue on
Yeah.
there, but this was his rationale. But yeah, the stuffed up way up in the corner is the album title. You would think it would have been a little bigger.
Yeah. That's the only real feedback I would have during that time, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he got feedback on that as well. But I mean, I'm sure he had no regrets on how he went about it. So one thing that this album is known for is its production, and about to go into 1990, out of Ruthless Records. I would have to say that this is probably the best produced album up to that date. Definitely, I mean, so for as someone who's listened to Easy E, and Easy Does It, and I'm not sure if you listen to Straight Outta Compton just yet. We are going to be doing that soon, folks. But um, I would have to say, the production. How do you think it compared to, say, the other Ruthless releases that you've listened to so far, at least doing this show?
So that would have been Easy Does It, and what else?
Straight Outta Compton. Well, we haven't done Straight Outta Compton yet, but I
Oh,
mean, but I
I
guess,
heard a little bit of Straight Outta Compton back when that movie came out, and there was a
yeah,
lot of fanfare about it. But
yeah,
I really really like this one.
mm,
We raved about the production on the last one,
yeah,
Ghostface Killer's Iron Man, and this is another one where the beats were superb.
mm,
You got Portrait of a Masterpiece, or everything was extremely fast
yeah.
paced and like almost scatterbrained. It felt like a video game I used to play on Sega Genesis, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog or something. And
Yeah.
Whirlwind Pyramid, it actually feels like you're in a whirlwind
Mhm.
listening to that beat. And Beautiful but Deadly, it
Oh, yeah.
reminded me of. Uh,
I love that guitar. I'm like, after listening to that song, I was like, "How is this not a single?" That would have I feel like that would have killed it, especially during that time, late '80s, early '90s. Yeah, Beautiful but Deadly, that was incredible, but I'd have to say my favorite beats was definitely off the 2 singles, Mind Blowing, and I also gotta go with the Formula. Yeah, in terms of, I mean, it's a toss up between those 2. I also think, the other single was Funky Enough, or yeah, it's a pretty good one as well.
my very favorite one was Let the Bass Go. I love that one.
Oh, yeah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I don't think you go through this whole project, this whole album, I don't think there was one bad beat on here. Even the commercial had some pretty entertaining beats.
Yeah, Dre really really did his thing on this one. It was a really really good, really
Yeah.
well produced.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you guys are a fan of Dr. Dre Productions and you've not listened to this album, if you just want to listen to it for the beats alone, I think we both, I'll speak for Netta, we highly recommend. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. All right, but let's get into album singles. We can start with Mind Blowing. I'll let you go ahead and kick this one off. What were your thoughts on this single?
Um, this was probably my least favorite single, but it was pretty good. I liked when he said, "My life is like a story, yelling it because nobody is telling it." And when he said, "Rap is sort of a twist between what you needed and what I mean,"
Mm,
because it seems like he's saying he's not necessarily saying exactly what he means or
mm,
exactly what you need, but he's trying to strike the right balance between the two. employ what you've been missing. I thought that was very unique. And in the remix video, it kind of gave me through the wire vibes
Hmm.
because they're like showing his car crash and even
Yeah.
his soul leaves his body in the hospital. So I thought that was
Yeah, the
really
video, I
unique.
think, yeah, I believe you see like doctors in the music video and stuff, like with him being operated on. Yeah, so a little, yeah, yeah, I guess you can see, through the wire, with Kanye, maybe Kanye took some inspiration from that video. Um, definitely, I think with me, it was, with the chorus, do doc, do doctor. I mean, I don't know, the doc and the doctor. Doctor Doc and Doctor Dre. I mean, they were a really good combo back then. I feel they both complemented each other very well. Um, yeah, lyrically, I mean, not too much was going on for me here. I would have to say, uh, yeah, yeah, just yeah, I really can't think of actually. Rocking it was the notion. It seems I needed the potion, so I asked the doctor, your DRE, could he comply? Looking at me with the grin, he stroked his head and said why. Definitely that was like the second verse going into the third one. I thought, him referencing the doctor was always cool, and then well, Dr. Dre, and then otherwise, I mean, just his lyricism and everything, just going. Sometimes I feel like he would just be going way way too fast, and I don't know if you saw that little short that I sent you with Eminem. Just he was just trying to figure out how he did that, and then he was just like, I just put it all together. I floated.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that one. There were a lot of times in here where he just, I mean, he could be rapping slowly, just like,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden he's like, well, you better keep up with what I'm about to say. Like, whoa. But I thought it was pretty cool how fast he was rapping.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that definitely. All right. The next single that we're discussing is "The Formula." Let's see. I thought, definitely a good song. Uh, definitely. Once again, I feel like he and Dr. Dre complement each other, very well. With Dr. Dre going coming at the end of every verse saying, "It's the formula." Yo, what's the formula? Dr. Dre, tell him what I'm rapping. The formula. The third verse, I liked the part where it said, "Shipped into the stations. Now many people know of me. I'm the D into the O, O and the O into the C, and the C into the period. Suckers are fearing this when heard the dope style calculated by the great weight and take just a second to get caught up in my record. New, new, but not a kid to be worn. If something getting torn up, then I'm not. Then I'm doing the tearing, not being torn." I thought he went pretty hard there on that third verse with that lyric, and then beat was great. Did that had that Marvin Gaye beat on. I don't know if you recognized it or not from when we did the Marvin Gaye song a while back. You didn't recognize it?
No, which one was it?
It was, if I can go, hold on. I'll look it up. But while I look it up, what were your thoughts on the formula?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was my favorite music video with Dr. Dre as this Frankensteinish character making the DOC in a lab. I thought that was really creative and really unique. And he starts making them after thousands of people are trying to audition for the uh, for the record label,
Oh yeah,
and
that was
both
funny.
Dr. Dre, yeah, about Dr. Dre and Eazy are both displeased with all of these people performing, and so he goes into the lab and starts making the DOC, and it looked like the finishing touches when he put on his
Hmm.
the tennis shoe at the end, and then all of a sudden he woke up. Um, so a lot of the album was really it was a whole album about it was a musical album about music.
Yeah.
So I had already been thinking throughout listening to the album that this was music about music. So this song really put the cherry on top of, it. With he gives like a in depth explanation of his artistic process, or this formula that he feels is good for him to connect with the crowd. High energy,
Mm.
wisdom, sense of a rich man, knowledge, and rhythm. So I thought it was really cool, like a really meta song about music.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think. All right, so I found the sample. Inner City Blues. It was that. It was the
Oh,
last. It
okay.
was the last song on the Marvin Gaye album.
Okay, yeah,
If
that was my favorite
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
I
yeah,
put
yeah. Listen to
notes.
that song again. You'll be like, oh, yeah, yeah. So it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a sad beat a little bit, but it was good. It was good though. And then as for the music video, I thought, what was it? New Kids in the Hood or MC Mallet, just making fun of like other like musical acts during that time, not only in hip hop but pop as well. You know, with MC Hammer and New Kids on the Block. But
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then yeah, I do like. I think it was my favorite music video because of the whole like Frankenstein or vibes. You know, just Dre in the lab, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So it was pretty creative music videos. I don't think we there were too many music videos out like that during the time. So I think it's pretty underrated as a music video, if you ask me. I just like the creativity behind it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's see. Let's move on to probably the song that made him a star. It's funky enough. And is it funky enough? um, you want to start? You want me to start?
I mean, I thought it was
Hmm.
funky enough. I mean, when you have music about music, it's hard not to be funky enough. But he's talking about creating the music, and it's several times throughout the album where he talks about his how he pronounces words. And in this
Yeah.
song, he said, "Enunciate well so that you can tell I am not illiterate. No, not even a little bit."
Oh yeah.
There, there's there's another part in the album and lend me an ear when he says,
mm,
I show and tell what should be told and say it with conviction and proper use of diction. So I don't know if he grew up with, like, I used to, my dad used to always say enunciate. Like if I come and I just say something really quick, he's like, no, you need to say that over again and enunciate. I don't know, maybe he had a dad or mom like that, but he's really serious about his diction. And
yeah.
so he's talking about creating the music, releasing it, ship it to the stations in your
Mm,
jurisdiction, and he's anticipating and predicting the reaction to the music. Let the music take you, shake it because it makes you. And I turn the knob to the door you escape through. And he talks about observing the reaction to music. He says, I need a break so I can check around, see who the hell is that sitting down. So he doesn't want you sitting down in his music. And I also like one line when he says, Heaven sent if you're a hellified dancer. I love the irony in that bar. So it was a pretty good song.
yeah, definitely. It was a great song. Yeah, definitely just probably like his top song ever in terms of just beat, flow. Definitely I am not illiterate, no, not even a little bit part of it. And then no crowd can avoid the D.O. to the C when PERFORMING. Oh, he just sells out performing. It's like, yeah, yeah. It's like you reading some of the lyrics now. It's just like, dang, he's going real fast. And then the fact that he would do like four verses, which was kind of I don't, which was kind of like unheard of during that time. I mean, he did. I think he did the same thing in the Formula also, with four verses. Um, the beat was great, and then as for the music video, I think they're Easy E and Dr. Dre, driving around looking for this new act of D.O.C. Like Ruthless was really pumping them up to to be like really like the next big like solo artist. And it's just and I just think about what happened when it was just like, damn, what there's a lot of what ifs with this guy. But
Another thing he
hmm,
said in the Sway interview is that he thinks if he hadn't had the crash, he wouldn't be here
hmm,
because I guess he was involved in a lot of the drugs and all kind of stuff at that time. So he thinks the crash really slowed him down and allowed him to live a more healthy life.
yeah,
Ironically,
yeah,
um,
yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it was probably could have been a good thing for him. Just bit of a wake up call. A bit of just thinking about um just life, how he was living. Just made him really slow down. I feel and if anything, one thing I did hear about that he was trying to do. You know how they've been doing like AI now, like with voices. I hear I hear he's like working on an album. I don't know if it's like if he has anything recorded for it, but he'll drop some vocals, and then I heard that with the company he's working with, they're gonna try to replicate his old voice.
really,
Yeah. I just wonder how that would sound in 2024, 2025,
that's I mean I get what he's trying to do,
Mm,
but a part of me just says maybe just leave that in the past. It's been like so long. I'm 34. I wasn't even it's been 35 years.
mm,
Maybe your voice after 35 years is just your voice, even if it's scratchy and whatever.
mm.
A lot of artists have, unique voices, and that's what catapults them to the
Yeah,
top.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I know voices do change over time with, people and, it's just artists, whatnot. I mean, it happens. So, I mean,
I saw something where he was saying how Dre responded to his voice when he wanted to get back out there after the crash,
mm,
and Dre just told him don't don't make any more music because when you did that last album you were at the top, you were the king, so
mm,
why go and ruin it by making another album? But he just loved music so much and he wanted to
he was
keep
hungry.
making it so
Mm,
bad, yeah. So he just went and did it. But I honestly, I just think he should accept his voice. When
mm,
I listened to his interview, and it was kind of like it was a unique voice. But hey, he said in the interview he figured he got used to his voice, so maybe other people would too. And I think the audience would, but
mm.
it is an interesting thing to do to use AI to turn
Yeah,
back the hands of time.
I think AI is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what to think of AI. I know. Yeah, it's it's kind of
Yeah,
it's a whole nother
it
subject.
it is really a double edged sword.
Mhm.
I used to like the comedian George Carlin, and somebody released the AI of him. He's dead. He died in 2008, but somebody released the
Mm.
AI comedy performance of his. It was titled "I'm Glad I'm Dead."
Oh.
And it was actually very funny and very much like George Carlin to a scary degree. It was really good too, but it's still like something about this feels wrong.
All right, let's get into our three picks. Let's see. What do you got?
I chose The Formula, Let the Bass Go, and Portrait of a Masterpiece.
All right, I went with two of the singles. It's funky enough. I think that's his best song ever. The formula, we got that in common, and then the last one I went with. Maybe it wasn't his best song, but favorites. What we it's going to be personal bias. The grand finale, and I'll tell you why I really like that song. But I'll let you go with the let the bass go. Oh yeah, honorable mention to beautiful but deadly, and what was the other song I wanted to shout out? Uh, oh, let the bass go. That was one of my honorable mentions. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let the bass go.
Yeah, this was actually my favorite song on the album. I liked Dre's verse when he's talking about how he
Hmm.
found D.O.C. I've been around, and you've heard the sound of the D.O.C. and the new style I found. So I like that. I like when Dre says, "I let your ear cold hear when the bass go." Um, I let's see. I like when DOC says he's on track 24 in a machine to make you move on the hip hop scene. I like that throughout the album he's making references to the other songs
Hmm.
on the album, and on Let the Bass Go he says I'm like a whirlwind pyramid and I'm letting you know I get ill when I hear the bass go. So I like the beat really was the defining feature of it. I really love the
Yeah,
beat.
it was a great beat. I gotta, if I had some time later, I'll try to figure out what it was sampled from, but it was definitely a good beat. I like how he lays out, four verses. Dr. Dre, I think, really compliments him very well throughout the album. I thought, he did a very good job with this one. It was it was probably my fourth favorite song. That yeah, fourth favorite song. I thought it was very good. Let's see. And then I guess I'll let you do your other pick. Lend me an ear.
Portrait of a
Oh,
Masterpiece.
Portrait of a Master. Oh, portrait. My bad.
Um,
My bad.
I liked I liked that this was like one long verse where he's spelling out what it means to be dope. He's
Yeah.
so winded by the end. He says, "Dre, let me catch my breath." I like the imagery in this one. He's kind of comparing his music to painting a painting. He says, "Words connected up to another degree, and I'm the artist who painted this portrait of a masterpiece." And he's having you walk through a gallery of his work. He says, taking a trip through a gallery of a
Mhm.
musical massacre, and he describes how his knowledge got him to where he is. He says, the style of Terror Dome, frantic to panic. It took a man on a mission with something more in the attic. So I really liked it. I thought it was a very poetic song and
Mhm.
a really cool song.
You,
What did you think?
I thought it was a great song. How he just puts a bunch of words together and just flows throughout. Goes into like a lot of different like subjects. One thing I do, like I said earlier, with the whole profanity thing. I know he cusses here and there, but it seems like some of these like deeper cuts on the album, he doesn't really use profanity at all. Even the last song we talked about, "Let Me In," no, not "Let Me In," or what was it? Let the bass go. He doesn't really cuss a whole lot. So, like I said, that's why I put him up there, like with the greats, like Rock Him, because he doesn't really use profanity like that either. So, um, but yeah, just um, lyrically, definitely, once he's done, hold on, Dre, stop the beat, let me catch my breath. Ayo, man, why you stopping? That was funky. To catch my breath. All right, you got it. Yeah, kick it, and then just continues. I like that. I thought that part was kind of funny, and then let's see. I like the part where it goes, the lyrics used, the DOC's a professional, nothing exquisite to prohibit you from listening up, crisp and clean, but I don't mean 7 Up. I preside all ill dippy dope, frantic to panic, just a man on a mission with something more in the attic. I'm just an ordinary fear and fury few. Do it to the mic is the deal to the CU. And so I mean, I thought, yeah, he spells his name a lot throughout the song too. The deal to the
Yeah.
C, they can, yeah. But I mean, it was a good song. Overall, just just clear, clearly proves his lyrical genius. And then I'll get into my favorite, the grand finale. Now I know this is a song that did have features, but when I look at the picture overall, one of the reasons why I like this song is because this is kind of like the last song of like the whole original inception of NWA. One thing when Jerry Heller was doing when I was reading this book, I think I read it in his book or he did it in an interview. He talked about three albums that really defined the time at Ruthless Records. Easy Easy, Easy Does It, NWA Strata Compton, and this was the last one. The D.O.C. This No One Can Do It Better. This and this is the grand finale was the last song where all the original members were together. Dr. Dre, MC Ren, Easy E, and Ice Cube. This was right before Ice Cube left the group. So, you know, technically this is kind of like the last song if you think about it, because they never reunited after that. Well, the whole group as a whole, I guess, if that makes sense. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good song. I thought Ice Cube really ate everybody up,
Oh, you
honestly.
thought he had the best verse?
Yeah, I think so. The one thing I saw that this song was the reason that this album had to get like the explicit
Hmm.
sticker on it. And I'm just like, if this guy, he kind of, I don't know if he went out of his way, but he did not have much profanity on his
He probably could
album.
have got away with it with the rest of the album had it not been for this song. This was like really the only song that
Yeah,
had to
I'm just
been.
thinking, why not the NWA members just kind of take the profanity off if they're gonna change the entire
They could have.
labeling of the album.
I mean, they were doing clean versions of their records during that time. I'm sure they could have did a clean version. Just go back to the studio, change a few lyrics. I'm pretty sure they could have if they really wanted to. But
Yeah, the Easy Ease line gave me the chills because he's like, uh, the
oh,
pleasure in playing that my wing ding inflicted. They'll never forget what's done in bed by Easy. I'm like, oh my god, that's that age. That's probably the most horribly aged lyric we've ever done on this podcast.
yeah. Yeah. And then, well, I mean, at that one, and then there's the other one too. Well, he was always talking shit. Mass murder motherfuckers in a course of an everyday situation where I stalk by, fuck the car, I do a motherfucking walk by.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. And then DLC, yeah, he does cuss at the end of his verse. I got Raw when I came to Cali. Now with NWA on the motherfucking grand finale. I think that was the only time he did the F bird in the whole album. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably a song that was out of place. But but I mean that's one of the reasons why it was one of my favorites. Is it was just really just the last time you heard NWA on a record together with all its members. Really, that's what really stands out to me. So, um, and but if y'all don't like it, that is my pick. Because I mean, like you said, Ice Cube I think had the best verse on that song. So,
Yeah. I like when he said, ever see a sucker scattered? It'll make you throw up.
oh yeah. All right. So enough with our favorite songs. Well, a lot of great songs here. We do recommend the album, especially for the lyricism and the beats. All right, so album cuts. There was an expansion edition that came out in 2015 or 2016. I wasn't able to find it on Spotify, but if you can find it, I know they do have like some 12 inches, like singles. Maybe the Mind Blown remix is on there. I actually can go here real quick see what was. Actually, they don't have the track list for that, but there was an expanded edition that did come out. So if you guys can find it, definitely take a listen. There was one cut track from the album. It was called Bridget. Um, Apparently it got removed because it kind of a funny reason why it got removed. It was cut from the album because of sexual content,
Hmm.
um, which I don't know. Which if you put that last song on there, why not? I don't know. I can send it to you later through YouTube, and I can let you determine. But it did. come on a Dr. Dre compilation that came out years later called First Round Knockout, which featured some of his earlier works with the World Last Wrecking Crew, maybe a little bit of NWA stuff and some cut Death Row stuff that never made it to the album, like what was that song? Deep Cover 187 on an Undercover Cop, that song. So um if you can find that compilation, find it. But yeah, Bridget, yeah, that's on that compilation. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. If you guys want to take a look, listen, determine for yourself if it should have been on the album or not, go right ahead. All right. So now we get into the recommendations. If you like this one, obviously I'm going to recommend the two that I've been saying throughout the whole episode. NWA Straight Outta Compton, Easy E, Easy Does It. We did that back episode. It was very early on. If you want to help me out, Netta, it was episode episode seven. uh, yeah, I've been trying to write the episodes here of albums we've already covered and recommendations, but still haven't. I still don't learn. And then the last one I'm going to recommend is Above the Law's debut album, Living Like Hustlers, which came out next year. It features more production from Dre, so if you like the sound of this one, you probably would like that one too. It was before the whole G Funk thing. We did review an album from Above the Law back episode number 24, their second studio album, Black Mafia Life. This obviously is a little, it's a little different, but definitely, I think it's not as hard as some of their later work, but definitely check it out. Above the Laws, Living Like Hustlers. All right. So final thoughts. What songs you taking back to your playlist? Um, what did you like? What did you not like? Would you listen
I'll
again?
I'll take back Let the Bass Go and Portrait of a Masterpiece. I would give honorable mentions to Whirlwind Pyramid. I like when he said, I have the juice to make vinyl gold. Beautiful but deadly. I thought it was really funny the part where he says, on your knees and no more to spin, and you're still thinking how you want to see her again. Uh, the I go away from the album thinking this is a musical piece about every aspect of the musical process from its creation to its public reception. He didn't get into his spirituality much, and he didn't get into Pan Africanism as the album cover suggested to me, but he
Hmm.
gave us a look into his artistic frame of mind, which is a lot more unique and a lot more meaningful in my estimation. Um, he says in his interview with Sway,
Hmm.
he talks about how much he helped everybody else as far as ghostwriting, and he says somebody has to love the art enough to sacrifice themselves. I chose to be that guy, and he talks about how he really Snoop Dogg was one of the only people who would listen to him, so he really was able to put a lot of the things he
Yeah,
learned into Snoop Dogg.
he mentored Snoop a lot when he first came on. He helped Snoop a lot. I mean, maybe not, maybe even a little bit more than Dre did when, at least when it came to lyricism and all that stuff. Dre, he's a great producer. He showed him this, the basic ropes. But I think when it got deeper, yeah, yeah, Snoop has the D.O.C. to thank, for a lot. So yeah, he really did help Snoop a lot. For me, what I'm taking back, I mean, I hear these songs. Well, maybe not a whole lot, but it's funky enough. Is definitely his best song ever. I'm definitely gonna do that. Mind blown. I hadn't heard that one too much. I'll probably take that back with me. The grand finale I've heard time and time again. Beautiful but deadly. Was a good song. And then Let the Bass Go. I thought that was very very unique song as well. I could definitely see myself putting these songs on my playlist for everyday rotation and whatnot. All right, folks. Well, you heard what we thought about this album. What do you think about this album? Are you gonna listen? Let us know your top tracks from this album. What you like about it the most. For Netta, aka Wondrous Net, I'm Justin. Who's all for you, fool. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Later.